Let us now in this moment close our eyes and co-create a sacred space, like a room or a nest. In this space, there are no boundaries, yet we feel safe and held. Were there something to puncture the calm by one of us, or from beyond this energetic, what would you do? Would you react or respond? Our gathering provides us ongoing opportunity to take responsibility, to respond by addressing the things we find intolerable. So rather than reacting with an emotional charge that may incite a battle or hostility, we respond. Just as emergency responders prepare and come to the aid of others in distress, so do we. Rather than reacting, they are responding to what is needed. Let us view.
Hello, my name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. I've made a few little short guys that hopefully catch attention. And what it is I'm doing my best to come up with those unalienable rights exactly. And we think we nailed it in the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. We think so. So far, so good. If it isn't, we'll correct it. We're under God, that's for sure. Whatever it is that you have for your creator, the Mother Nature, or the great guardian of Mount Olympus, or Thor, or whatever you have, a pantheon of gods, or had a grandson said, I'm a pagan and both my children went to Catholic University. There's some kind of meaning in there somewhere. And then define pagan. It's definitely not an atheist. And according to the documents that I have, however imperfect they are, they have a creator. They're welcome aboard with all of the unalienable rights. Primarily, the rights we want to deal with are those that are going to lead us to the proper place where government is. It's not an incorporated business, and we're the cash cow. It's not an entity telling us they're there for our protection, but then writing tickets and fining people and requiring licenses and permits to support their government. It has metamorphosed from government into a business. If the cops write enough tickets, we have enough money to hire 2 clerks. If they write more tickets, we get 3 clerks, more cops. Not the right way to go. I want the cops there to catch the burglars and the bad guys. Those people that do evil and wicked things. But if you haven't hurt anybody or you haven't damaged property and you're getting a ticket on the speculation of the cop that you shouldn't run a red light. Well, you shouldn't. It's stupid. But it's not his place to write you a ticket. That's not what he's there for. He's there for your peace, safety, and happiness, even if you're stupid enough to run a red light. So we have a lot of people all around the nation that have come together in assemblies or groups or safety committees or social compacts in societies and assemblies all over. There's 4 or 5 on Oregon that I know of, and they all are doing something along the same lines to reach someplace that is not here, where it is corrupt and evil and needs to be changed, where sheriffs knowingly and intentionally take an oath to a bogus constitution in a play pretend oath and bond scenario that's not government. And they know it. And they do it knowingly and intentionally. That has to cease. That's not de jure. That's not for my peace, safety, and happiness. When I say my, then you read the same documents that I just read, and then you would say the same thing. You would say my. We can say our and for all of us, but you have to have skin in the game. You cannot be against evil and acquiesce and be against it here. You have to be against it in your actions. So, all of you folks all around the place, those unalienable rights and those amendments and the documents that we are going to use to regain original jurisdiction. The only place in history that I know of where men and women, the body, mind, spirit, flesh, blood, soul, was put first as sovereign over the government with no titles of nobility and nobody more equal, but all equal. Now, that's not perfect, and it never was. It was made by us. It's just as good as we can do. And we do better as it goes along. But in the history of the world that is known from Hammurabi all the way out to now, it's us. There's nobody else. No other country. None. Zero. They came pretty close, some of them. A guy named Simon Bolivar, he did a bunch down in South America. And then screwed it up, of course. That's not the point. The point is to do your best. And your best is when you find something out, you take action. And then you say, wow, how can I take action? Easy. You form a social compact. You find 4 or 5 other people, body, mind, spirit, flesh, blood, soul, that think. And after thinking, declare their status as men and women on the land and soil of their state, commonwealth, or territory. And once they do that, and they all do it together, they have the document. Then you take the document and you file it with those that need to know your intent. And we did. We notified the U.S. Marshals, the U.S. Department of Justice, the Marine Corps, the FBI, the state of Oregon, 36 sheriffs, 38 prosecutors. Multiple times we told them that we were Article 1, Section 1, and we gave them plenty of time to rebut that. And there was no rebuttal. However, all of the people on all of the other several states and commonwealths and territories have yet to do the same. They've gathered together, they've assembled, they've made social compacts, they've done all kinds of things, printed license plates and hats and cups and held seminars and done a tremendous amount of work, but not one of them did that and told their enemies what they had done and given their enemies the opportunity to rebut. None of them rebutted. 30 days pass, it stands. So we are the provisional government on Oregon. That same space in the pantheon of nations is available to any group that will form a social compact on any state, commonwealth, or territory and do the actual work required to make your social compact the Article 1, Section 1, or whatever it's called on your state, commonwealth, or territory's constitution. Then you have to get enough members to have a jury pool so you have a grand jury. When you call one shows up. Then you can form a civilian court of record exactly as required to remove your state, commonwealth, or territory from martial law, Lieber Code, and FEMA. Only you can do it. Nobody else can do it for you. We can't do it for you on Ohio from Oregon. You got to do it on Ohio. Now, I know of a whole bunch of outfits on Ohio that are doing all sorts of things, bringing forth and settling counties and just doing lots of work and not getting anything done towards the solution. You have to do the solution. You can't just talk about it and have another meeting, seminar, or society. You have to do the work. Charlie has gone to the trouble for you folks to get it all down on paper. What you have to do and how you have to do it. And what do you need to do to get there? And if you have trouble, who do you call and how do you make it work? All that part's done for you. You got to get the 5 or 6 that'll actually do the work, not slough it off onto 2 or 3 of you, but all of you do the work. 15 hours of work, $50 for postage and $40 for $50 now for a seal. It's not that hard. And in 30 days, the paperwork is done. The de facto form of government will yield. They will not rebut. They don't want to yield power, and they'll hide from you, and they'll hit you with sticks, put you in jail, kill you, but they won't rebut, and they will acquiesce, and they will take a proper oath to the proper constitutions, with God included, in front of at least 4 members of your court, and you will hear it and get a signed copy of his oath. Fresh ink. Now you have government in the form of at least one that took a proper oath. Now they have to get a bond and uphold their oath or pay the penalty. And it's got to be done. Can't just talk about it some more. NLA has talked it to death. Anna's talked it to death. RD's talked it to death. Elwood, David, God. Lie, cheat, and steal has to stop, and returning to a constitutional Republican form of government in original jurisdiction where anything in the value of $20 or more is in contest. It's going to have a jury trial, no judges involved, and the verdict of that civilian court of record in Article 3 and in Amendment 7 that only you can do, nobody can confer that on you. That bunch has to make the decisions, and they don't get paid. If you get paid, then you're owned. I yield.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying, and then he jumps out of the car, and he's got both his hands up. And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, just shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I fought. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, shot him 3 more times.